What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen this house went out. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. This is Nolan's GoFundMe. I'm not even gonna lie. People must be donating, pretty much, because I literally just looked at this. I want to say a couple hours ago, and I want to say it was probably right at 800,000, or less. So people are still, steady donating. I'm not. One thing about it, I'm not going to knock the simple fact that people are donating or anything like that. I just hate the simple fact of people doing it for the wrong reasons. That's one thing that I dislike and that I don't agree with. But that's just how I am. Everybody's entitled to opinion, obviously, and that's how I feel. Got it right here. This is a Give, Send, Go. Says stand with Nolan Wells, targeted friends. Says and take down Ben Crump while supporting the Horn Island. On Independence Day weekend of 2026, lives were changed forever when a group of friends lost their best friend, Nolan Wells. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. This is a post by Clay Edwards. I definitely want to say that, and this is Clay Edwards. But instead of being allowed to mourn, what followed was and again, I agree with what, this is about. You're going to have a lot of people that have a lot to say. I'm going to be real. You're going to have a lot of people that got a lot to say. But then again, I look at the simple fact that, this, and again, you're going to have people for the wrong reasons within a lot. But within it, and like I said, just with anything, if it's for the right reason, I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna let y'all know. This is the right thing. I mean, regardless, they need obviously the help, the money for this. And then they people want to continue and comment and say, these individuals are rich and they this and they that. They weren't saying that about Nolan. They weren't saying that about Nolan's family. They're all buddies, everybody. Because if that's the case, you might as well say it for everybody. Let's not start that. Like, people got to be real with themselves. Now you saying, just because they black, they ain't got money? Come on now. Make it make sense. Says right here, since Nolan's death, obviously they've been getting harassment, threats, and all of that. Says Warren Hudson, Jax, and many others have been, obviously having many death threats. They've been falsely and wrongly blamed by individuals online and the media, either directly or indirectly having a hand in Nolan's death. Most of them could not even attend their own best friend's funeral. And I feel like that definitely sucks, because if I was, in that position to where, it definitely could be, hard. You're not only getting, this situation that's happened, but you got to deal with threats. You got to deal with people saying this, not only threats from different individuals, but you're having threats and you're having people talk about you that's, obviously in the mainstream media and that sort. On top of that, you're dealing with the parents, you're dealing with Ben Crump, you're dealing with Al Sharpton, you're dealing with all these individuals on top of not being able to attend their best friend's funeral or their friend's funeral. Definitely sickening. I'll tell you that much. This fundraiser, like I said, just raised $10,000 within, I would say, the last, 2 in the morning? I say the last 6-7 hours. I could possibly say. I can definitely say that, because when I seen this, it was at 40,000, I believe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was around that 40,000 mark. It now has raised up to 50,000. The goal is 100,000. I will try to leave this in the description box. Because I don't want nobody commenting talking about, you ain't left Nolan Wells. They raised 800,000 to Nolan Wells. And not only are they raising 800,000 for Nolan Wells, my cousin is calling me right now. I'm in a video, cuz I'm gonna call you right back, okay? Okay, my bad. All right, now you good. Big shout out to my cousin Jamar. His daughter's birthday is literally today. Actually, it's 2 in the morning right now. But getting some stuff together, her party and stuff like that. So I definitely apologize. I literally don't answer the phone when I'm doing this, but yeah. Anyways, 800,000, over 800,000, and each time they hit a mark, they raise the money even higher. So once they hit the 850 mark, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna put it up to 900,000. Same thing they did, with Carmelo Anthony case, and obviously it's two different cases, but the way that people are doing things is truly wrong. And I say that it's truly wrong because you mean to tell me that y'all raised $800,000? Not to mention, and again, this is not to put aside anybody, to talk crazy, to say this, to say that. No, by any means. Because me personally, it's okay, to do those things. But y'all didn't put up all this money because y'all so angry about something. Why are y'all not angry when it comes down, again, since we're talking about, somebody black, the black community? Look at the black community, and these kids are getting shot, different things that's happening. Never look into that. And I feel like I so much got a problem with that. And people truly got to get better. In general, for everybody. But since we talking about the black community, and they want to talk Ben Crump, and they want to do this, do that, do the same. Why not? You know what I mean? Feel like it's something that's, definitely something that makes sense, right? I guess not for them. Sarah Fields' post said, in just 7 hours, we've raised nearly $40,000 for the young men and families who have been targeted in connection with the Nolan Wells case. We're already almost halfway got to the initial goal. Can't think of a better way to show everyone exactly why this fundraiser is necessary than by just sharing a screenshot. Imagine launching a fundraiser to help cover legal fees against people you have threatened to do nasty things on you. Only have those same individuals donate $1 just so they can leave another message. Definitely a sickening message that I won't be repeating, but you truly have people that are leaving dollars and whatnot, $5, just to leave a sickening message. Says this is what families are dealing with. These are the kinds of vile, hateful people that are forced to endure and take precautions to protect their family. So to celebrate reaching nearly half our goal in less than a day, I'm boosting the fundraiser once again. Thank you to every single person who has donated, shared, supported these families. The response has been incredible, and it's clear that Americans are fed up with this kind of targeted harassment. Also, everyone should know I've already received screenshots of those who are planning on reporting the fundraiser in effort to take it down. I'm friends with CEO of Give, Send, Go, and your reports will fall flat. Good luck. I'm not even going to lie. That's true. It's definitely true. I'm pretty sure I've seen some, of that, before. And I'm not going to lie. It's no reason for it to. There's no reason for it to be. I actually looked this up earlier of, this fundraiser. And y'all can find it, Give, Send, Go. If you look up Give, Send, Go and put in Stand with Nolan. I think it's Stand with Nolan Wells Friends. Or is it Nolan Wells? Stand with Nolan Wells. And then it said, targeted friends. And, you obviously see that it's a fundraiser created by Benjamin Hudson. And it says received by Taylor and Cox law firm. So definitely something that, is definitely amazing that I'm seeing. Now, looking at, the most recent, I'm not seeing nobody with nasty comments as I'm going through here. People are leaving a pretty nice amount of money. I'm not even going to lie. That's pretty cool that everybody is, doing this and coming together, within this. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm saying, for when it comes for everybody, I'm one of those people, but I hate it when it comes down for the wrong reasons, and a way that Benjamin Crump and they're putting it, I feel like is more so for the wrong reasons. Truly have it right here. This is dad of Nolan Wells' best friend. Basically. Got a lot to say, about Ben Crump for financially exploiting, his teen's death, turning into a political circus. You literally have it right here. This is posted by Brandon Tatum. Says the father of Warren Hudson, Nolan Wells' best friend, announced plans to sue Ben Crump for defamation, accusing the attorney of falsely accusing his son and others of unaliving. Can't say that word. Says, in my opinion, truth is not Ben Crump's concern. He's exploiting the situation and raising money. I think this is financially exploiting the entire tragedy and making it a much bigger tragedy at the expense of the family and our community and the Wells family, Ben Hudson said. And me personally, I truly find it sickening of what Ben Crump is doing. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not a fan of him. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate when it comes down to it, but I definitely feel like it's something that's, sickening and I don't agree with. I truly don't. You have it right here. This is Stephen A. Smith joining Chris Cuomo to discuss Nolan Wells' investigation. Check out what they say here.
I understood why the family felt that the initial word from the investigators that there's no foul play. I understand the sensitivity given the other components of this, where it was, who this is, how quick that answer came before they really had any kind of sense of context. But the immediate pushback was, Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, here they go, making it racial when there's no proof of that. Why has this resonated where other cases hasn't?
Well, it resonates particularly in the black community because in the year 2026, we find ourselves sensing and being highly suspicious of vicious circumstances. There was a black dude who was the only black dude in attendance, and he's the only person, the human being, that didn't come home alive. Something's wrong with that picture. And
Wrongo. He wasn't the only black individual in this situation. I want to clarify that, and I want to be real with that. I don't know why so many people are making it seem like he was, but he truly wasn't. He wasn't the only black person on the island.
The people that were there with him have no answers. Something is highly suspicious about that. Now, it would be irresponsible to accuse folks of murder or to accuse folks of criminal behavior that lent itself towards this kid being killed. But the bottom line is that if you sent your son out and they go on a boat trip with these guys and he's the only one that doesn't come back alive and he's the only black individual that was there, you better believe that the black community is going to be up in arms as well as we should be, because that is highly, highly suspicious. It's not just that he's deceased, that he's gone. It's that there's no explanation. Nobody knows anything.
I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that. I definitely, if obviously, they're still doing the investigation. They have the autopsy, which we'll talk about that. But I just hate the simple fact that you have so many people that's like, oh yeah, he was the only black person on there, and then they still pushing this. He was the only black person on the island. He was the only black person there. No, that's not true.
Well, he was.
You gotta stop saying that.
Listen, you're a dad. I'm a dad. We send our children out. And first of all, regardless of what ethnicity, regardless of what color we're talking about here, we send our children out, and you're the only one that doesn't come home alive. I'll be damned if the Chris Cuomo that I know doesn't want answers and doesn't expect answers. You know me, and I'm going to push for answers. So for no one to have answers as to what happens is when the suspicion elevates exponentially. That's what this is about. It's about the fact that there's been no answer. Nobody knows. A matter of fact, the parents, from what I read, the parents were saying they didn't even get a hold of the cell phone until they used whatever device to locate it, and it was brought to them by one of the people that was in attendance with their son. I'm saying all of those things lend itself towards an extremely heightened level of suspicion. Something smells. Now, do I know what that is? Do you know what that is? Hell no. But I'll be damned if that we can't ask those questions, and we shouldn't insist on further investigation, and we shouldn't be hell-bent on getting to the bottom of what happened. There was one black dude in attendance with a slew of people who...
I'm going to tell y'all, I haven't had Stephen A. Smith, speak on things, and he'll go back and say, oh, well, he just changed it up. No, apologies, no nothing. He just switched up. Obviously, the way he's talking right now is moron. I'm not going to lie. He's still saying that he was the only black person in attendance. He wasn't. If you're going to talk about something, at least have the facts about it. That's how I look at it. Another thing. There's been said that, it wasn't, any type of frustration, any type of, it's we have the phone and we're going to keep the phone. It was some type of struggle with keeping the phone at all. Keys, nothing. From what was said from the friend. So at this point, because I'm not seeing in any report, I'm not seeing in anything. The friend said that, it was no struggle of getting the phone and the keys to it. Why would you want to keep that? And the parents saying that it wasn't. Seeing how things are moving and seeing how everybody is so-called pro-black, because obviously from the looks of it, everybody thinks he was the only black person on the island. they'll stay running with it. Truly find it insane, and I truly don't like it. I showed y'all this video yesterday. Many of y'all have seen it. Nolan Will's mom called out, Officer Tatum on, obviously, basically saying that he doesn't need a platform because he's speaking, I guess, to the friends of Nolan. I personally think, and I've told my father this, we had a discussion today. I told my father this. And y'all go check this video out. Brandon Tatum posted it. Or y'all can go check out yesterday's video because it was a whole segment about that. I was talking about that, and I'm like, would you do that? And he basically was saying, well, that can mess up, the investigation, within that, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, I personally would. And I would do it because I look at the simple fact of this. If they have already talked to the police, if they have already said this, said that, regardless of anything, I feel like, me personally, more information could come out. More things could come out. You talking, you saying this, you saying that. There's a lot of times that you may leave something out. There's a lot of times that you feel comfortable, in the area to talk. I feel like it's more so that. So having those friends that's been reaching out, the parents that's been reaching out, I truly look at the simple fact that with more resources, it'll definitely help. But hey, obviously a lot of people ain't rocking what I'm saying. You have right here, this is a post by New York Post, says Nolan Wells state autopsy complete and in the hands of the sheriff's office. A lot of people are saying that there was, obviously some type of redness on the back of his neck. But again, a lot of people are also saying that, to, I guess, prop his head up during those autopsies and stuff like that. And this showed after the first autopsy, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, man. One thing about it is more so of people trying to make it and push so hard for something negative rather than waiting on the actual facts or simply just looking at the simple fact of thinking logically, with everything. And I look at the simple fact that I find it, I don't know, I find a lot of it interesting. I feel like it's so much talk, and I feel like this is something that I guess you could say Ben Crump as well as Al Sharpton have taken out to be something that, I don't know, I find it crazy to me. Oh no, I just find it crazy. I find it, they want to keep it up as long as possible. And I feel like it got a lot to do with that fame and that money. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Catch y'all next one.